Hey, I'm Jack. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Jack's Backyard. A lot of you may know me from my website, jacksbackyard.com, where my son and I build really cool tree houses. I also build custom play sets. I build a variety of other things as well, like porch swings, chairs, tables, picnic tables, bird houses. If there's a scrap of wood laying around, I'm probably going to end up building something out of it, like maybe one of these flags. I build American flags, Texas flags. Not sure if I really want to sell them. I've sold one or two, but it's, just maybe I don't want to do it right now. Anyway, besides all the cool things that I build on Jack's Backyard that you can go and view yourself, one of the greatest things that I contribute or that I offer on that website is do-it-yourself playset plans. Now, I wrote these do-it-yourself playset plans to make it easy for the novice carpenter, the first-time DIYer, or the person who doesn't even know they want to do DIY, but maybe they want to save some money on a swing set, are going to really be interested in some type of DIY plan. Now, let me give you a little background on how I got to writing up do-it-yourself swing set plans. Back in the 90s, I worked for a company called Rainbow Play Systems. Rainbow Play Systems was pretty unique in the 90s. They offered these expensive big swing sets that adults could play on, kids could play on, and really aesthetically, they were very pleasing. You can still see them out there around in people's backyards. A lot of you that are watching this might have grown up on one of those Rainbow Play Systems. Well, back in the 90s, if you wanted a heavy-duty swing set, then you had to buy one of these or look at one of these Rainbow type systems. And to get a decent one, you would end up spending $1,700 to $2,000, and then on the high end, you'd spend $5,000, $6,000, which was quite a bit for a swing set. The alternative at that time was you could go to Toys R Us and you could order a box set that was made in China. You can only make it one way. Whatever you see on the box is what you have to build. They were not diverse at all. Typically, they were small decks, small slides, built for the intermediate child in the backyard. They ran about $300 to $500, and then it would take you a day and a half to put one of those together. The other alternative was to build a do-it-yourself swing set. You could go to your home improvement store, buy a kit, and the kit would include instructions on how to build your own swing set. It would include the hardware for how to build a swing set and a wood list. You buy your wood from the home improvement store, they have it delivered to your home, and then over a period of days, you cut, drill, and manufacture your own piece of playground equipment in the backyard. When I was working at Rainbow Play Systems, I was a salesman. I was a salesman. I was in sales. How about that? I was in sales. I would get phone calls from people who would say, hey, I need a piece of playground equipment assembled. We're exclusive to our own equipment. We can't do that for you. I need my playground moved from my old house to my new house. I'm sorry, we do move play sets, but we're exclusive to our own brand. We can't do it for you. Well, eventually, a little light bulb clicked off, and I started a business moving and rebuilding and repairing and installing playground equipment. There was no one out there that was really doing what I was doing. I had big visions for it. And if I had known how hard it was going to be, I probably would not have done it. But it does lead somewhere. On one of these adventures where I'm in someone's backyard building a do-it-yourself swing set from a home improvement store, I was working. I had a helper. We're cutting the wood. It's in the hot Texas sun, middle of summer. And I'm just building. We'll probably make about $700 for 2 days worth of work. And after I built 4 or 5 of these things, they were ridiculous, by the way. I'm not going to tell you what brand it was, but they were ridiculous. They had you do so much extra work, and it was engineered to maximize wood. So you usually ended up spending a little bit more money on your lumber. And then, of course, the plans were just terrible. They were hard to follow. And one of these times, whenever I'm out in someone's backyard, I'm putting together one of these things, and I'm just like, geez Louise, man, how much money can I make doing this if I'm out on 2 days and I'm dying, I'm sweating from the heat, my body hurts, my brain hurts. There's got to be a better way. So I'm going through the plans. And I realize in this light bulb moment that knowledge is power. Why am I going to sit out here in the backyard of some stranger's house for 2 to 3 days building a swing set and only making $700? They're always looking for the cheap deal. They were always looking to get you down a little bit. If you charge $700, they wanted to do it for $500. And it was a new business. So, my lights were about to get cut out. So what do? I go out and I put together a swing set that takes me 2 days and I make very little money on it, but at least I got to keep the lights on. That's just not fun, folks. Anyway, from this, knowledge is power. I decided if these guys can make a set of do-it-yourself plans, I can do the same thing. I wanted to make it easy to build. I wanted to make it sensible and understandable. I wanted to make it modular so that you could start with just a fort, like, fort like that, and then add some swings to it if you wanted to add some swings or not, or add a rock wall, or add a picnic table or an accessory arm so that you could have a single arm out for a set of trapeze rings or maybe a baby swing. When I decided to write these plans, I had the best intentions of making this easy to do. And also, this is probably one of the bigger things, aside from it being modular. Because I had spent so much time moving and repairing and taking apart swing sets and putting them back together, I wanted this to be easy to move. So you can take it apart in a few pieces. Typically, if you build like this Endeavor here, once you break it down, it's about 8 or 9 pieces. It all fits in the back of a full-size truck or a trailer. And I wanted people to, well, number one, if somebody called me and wanted me to move one of my own swing sets, I wanted it to be easy. 2, if somebody's 3,000 miles away from me, I wanted them to be able to take this swing set apart easily, move it to a new location, or once the time is done and that it's ready to move on to another kid and let it live a second life, I wanted it to be easy to take apart, move it, reassemble it, and have fun again. This little adventure took me a couple of years. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never written a set of do-it-yourself plans. I was just a guy that was in real estate and decided I hated working in an office and I wanted to use my hands. And I just kind of pushed myself into a life I didn't know what to do with. I buy a computer. It has a calendar making program on it. And I determined that I can make my plans on this calendar making program, and then I can print them and distribute them and sell them to people. And I was going to charge, I don't know, I wasn't going to charge that much. So my very first fort was called the Little Fort. It was a little 4x8 fort with a 4-foot deck height, 8-foot slide. And I made probably about 6 to 7 of those, enough so that I understood what I was building, how to instruct someone on how to build it. Well, that little fort was called the Endeavor. Right here we have the Endeavor. This is my first fort design. It was called the Little Fort, and the name Endeavor came much later on. What's cool about this is that it fits in a small yard. It's not overpowering to build. It's only a 4x5. This fits in most backyards, and it also adheres to most homeowners' restrictions. When you buy one of these sets of plans, you get plans for a swing set add-on, picnic table add-on, rock wall add-on, and an accessory arm add-on, which is pretty handy. I don't know how much I charge for these. I change the price from time to time. A couple of years later, which by the way, this was the universal swing set add-on, and as I developed new forts, this universal swing set add-on was made to fit all of my fort designs. So when you get one of these, you can basically add it to almost anything. I also made rock wall plans. So here's a rock wall plan. This is about a 5 or 6 page plan. You can go down to Home Depot or Lowe's, home improvement store, buy the lumber, make this yourself. You can add this to most fort designs with a few modifications. It is specifically made to fit my designs. There is a different one for the Endeavor because it's much smaller. This one fits my Apollo, Triton, and Gemini. Now, Everybody loved the little fort. I'm in people's backyards putting it up, and people look over the fence and they go, "Well, how much is that? That looks really nice." And I say, "Well, I think back then I was charging $800 for it, which was not nearly enough. Could you make a bigger one than that if I requested it?" Well, this was the big fort. In the beginning, I only had two. I had the big fort and the little fort. And eventually, once I developed a couple of plans and I named them, this is the Triton. This is my flagship design. It's a 5x6 fort with a 5-foot deck. Comes with uh, comes with swing set add-on plans, rock wall plans, picnic table plans, accessory arm plans, and 4-point glider mount. Because if you get a back-to-back glider, you need 4 points to mount that thing so it doesn't swing like a top. So that's the Triton. Then I had someone who said, "I want the big fort, but my HOA won't let me have anything over 11 foot tall." So I designed the Apollo. The Apollo and the Triton are essentially the same fort, but the top rail on the Apollo is 8 foot, kind of like the Endeavor. This is really like a big fort made for a smaller yard. And eventually we had someone that wanted two decks. They wanted a 7-foot deck, 5-foot deck. They wanted to put a 14-foot slide on it or a spiral slide, which requires a 7-foot deck. So I developed the Gemini. And you have a 5-foot deck and a 7-foot deck. Basically, what we have here is we've got the Triton, and then I made a tower for it, and it comes with all the extra add-on plans as well. So once I developed all these plans and started selling them, they were pretty popular. I've been selling them for a long time, over 25 years now. I've never made a video that showed anyone how to build any of these things. So what I'm doing today is I'm introducing myself. I'm introducing Jack's Backyard to the general public, and I am going to be creating some videos on how to make my do-it-yourself swing sets. I have an order for a Triton swing set, and I'm going to build this Triton swing set. I'm going to do it exactly like I recommend that you build it. When you look through the plans, you've got a wood list, you've got a cut list, you've got a hole drilling list, you've got a checklist to make sure that you've got all the boards that you need, and you've got instructions on how to use your tools, how to use your drill bits, what tools you need, what drill bits you need, what saw bits, recommended tools, tools that you wish you could get, but maybe you're not ready to buy those type of things. So when I build this Triton swing set for my client, I am going to show you all how I build a Triton. Now, what's important is the Triton comes as a set plan. You build the fort, then you can add swings to it. You might have to take a couple of boards off to add the swings. If you're going to add a rock wall to it, you're going to have to take a couple more boards off from the original plan because you're going to have an opening for that rock wall. The same goes for anything. If you decide that you want to put a wood roof on it over a canopy top, you're going to have to make modifications. I basically get you set up so that you can read and understand the plans and then develop your own method or develop your own custom swing set how you want it. Swings to the left, swings to the right, rock wall on the back, rock wall on the front, picnic table, lower walls, lower rails. You can do all of that stuff once you get my engineering in hand. I'd also like to show you, by the way, that there's only 4 or 5 pieces of hardware. I kept it really short and sweet. There's not a lot of variation. Once you kind of get what I'm doing, it's pretty easy. And whenever I pack a kit, there's a couple of different size. There's 2 different size carriage bolts. There's 3 different size lag bolts. There's 3-inch screws, 2-inch screws, and that's basically it. So you get a very detailed plan. This is an example from my accessory arm, and you get something here that shows you the exact size of hardware that you need, the exact size washer. If you take a washer and put it on there, it's going to be the exact same size. It gives you some technical information, and then on the next page, there's a cut list. So you just go ahead and follow it, you cut it, and you drill the holes, you put it together, and next thing you know, you got an accessory arm that you can put on your Apollo, your Triton, your Endeavor, your Gemini, whatever it may be. So here's what's important about the Triton I'm going to build. And this is really what I want to outline. I've had thousands of people over the last 25 years say, "Jack, how do you do this? How do you build it whenever you're building one?" Well, I don't go and buy the lumber and start on Saturday and plan to finish on Saturday, especially if you're doing a Gemini. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. I like to do it in stages, and I figure that most DIYers probably have a job during the day and they're going to end up building this thing on the weekends or, after work. So the way that I'm going to build this Triton is I'm going to build it exactly the way I think you should do it. The way you should do it is you read the plans, you read and understand them, you figure out what your application is going to be, figure out if you need to take rails out for the rock wall, figure out if you need to generally just change it to make it fit what you're trying to build. Once you understand the plans and you work out exactly the methodology on how you're going to build it, then you start looking to the plans. First thing you do is you acquire the wood. Once you acquire the wood, you can let it, if you get pressure treated lumber, you're probably going to want to let it sit for a couple of days outside and let it dry. We're going to be building the Triton out of Redwood, so it's going to be really pretty. You guys are going to just totally get gassed on this thing. But your first step is, once you acquire the wood, is go out one night or one day and spend 3 to 4 hours and cut all of the wood. Just cut it per the cut instructions. As you're cutting it, you can go ahead and mark it for holes, but your goal in that first step is just to cut. We're going to cut everything that we need to build this Triton before we do anything else. Second, we're going to go through and drill all of our holes. You're going to go through each piece. I suggest laying it out in sections so that you keep the parts separated. Parts that don't require any hole drilling, you set them to the side, and parts that do require drilling, you set them in the next pile that you're going to have to work on. After you're done drilling all the holes, there's a lot of counterbores that you have to drill for your deck supports and for your sandbox fascia and your rails. Also, the swing assembly, which is all wood, no metal brackets. There's a couple of pretty big holes and half-inch carriage bolts, so you have to drill your holes pretty well. And once you're finished drilling all your holes, it's at this point that you're probably going to, if you're going to sand, that's when you're going to want to sand. If you're going to route it, and with a half-inch round over, a 3/8 round over, this is the time to route. When all the pieces are separated and laid out on the ground so that you can see what they are, you go ahead and get everything sealed, routed, not sealed, sanded, routed. And then, of course, if you do want to seal it, this is also a good time to seal them and let it dry for a couple of days. Once you've gone through your checklist, you've cut your wood, you've drilled all your holes, you've finished it to your satisfaction, then we get into the pre-assembly. And this is where things really get easy. At this point, you're probably on your 4th or 5th night. One night wood board cutting, night 2 hole drilling, 3rd night sanding, 4th night routing if you want, 5th night sealing. This can be done over a period of weeks, and eventually you're going to end up with a big pile of lumber on the floor ready to start your pre-assembly. And I'm going to show you that too. So when I'm ready to go, I'm going to have a big pile of lumber ready to build. First thing you do on the Triton is you build the front panel, you build the back panel. Set those to the side. Then you build your ladder. If you're going to add a picnic table, then you can build your picnic table. Build your swings. Go ahead and mount all your swing hangers to the swing beam, because that's going to take you a little bit, and you just go ahead and get it out of the way. You can pre-assemble your A-frame. My point is, by the time you're done, this pile of wood that's on the floor is going to be a new pile of usable parts that are ready to attach to each other. And I'm going to show you that process. And then I'm going to show you how you raise it up, you raise your 2 panels up, you attach everything together, and you build this. If you do it the way I say to do it, you're going to spend a couple of nights, a couple of weekends just getting everything ready. And then that Saturday when you're ready, once you get all your parts built, that Saturday, you're going to go out and put all your parts together, and it's going to take you 4 or 5 hours, and you're going to be done. And you're going to have a swing set that a big guy like me can swing on. You're going to have a big swing set that just about anybody can play on, and your kids are going to be proud. You're going to be proud, way more proud than you would if you spent 3 weekends trying to build one of those box sets. Oh my gosh, those things are terrible. Anyway, with that said, folks, I just wanted to introduce myself, introduce you to the channel, let you know that we are going to be building a swing set. Stay tuned. I'm going to introduce probably 4 or 5 different sets of plans outlining each one. There's going to be the entire process of building the rock wall, the entire process of building the Triton fort, everything that I can do. So this Triton, by the way, is going to have a rock wall on it. It's going to have a 10-foot slide. It's going to have the ladder. It's going to have a wood roof, which I don't have any plans for a wood roof. But by the time I finish with the video, you're not going to need plans because wood roofs are pretty easy. I think that's, well, this one's going to have a swing set with 4 positions and a back-to-back glider. So we're going to end up making the 4-point glider mounts. Anyway, it's going to be an exciting project. You're going to get to see me sweat out in the Texas sun or out in the Texas heat, unless hopefully we have a couple of cool days. Come watch, learn how to build a swing set, and then stick around, subscribe, help me out, help me get my channel started. Over time, I'm going to introduce plans for all the cool stuff that I make. I'm going to have plans for birdhouses. I'm going to have plans for my mailbox covers, which are dynamite. Whenever I sold those, I sold the heck out of them. They just take a little too long to make, and you can't charge too much money for them, and nobody wants them. I've got more in the tank. So stay tuned, come back, check it out. Let me know what you think of this video. Subscribe, like, help me out. Send me some comments. Let me know what you think. And check back with me. My next video starts tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to cut the wood for the Triton. So come check me out. Come check out my channel, Jack's Backyard. Go to jacksbackyard.com. Let me know what you think. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video.